Hey there! Today we'll talk about a fascinating pen. The pen is made by Pilot and the model is Sakura. Sakura, Japanese for cherry, a specific type of cherry tree, cherry blossoms, and that is part of the finish of the pen. I'll show you that in a second. First of all, I did not buy this pen, I borrowed this pen. I was at De Roos fountain pen store in Heemstede Eidenhout here in the Netherlands, and the owner of the store said, well, if you enjoy this pen you can borrow it for a review. So we'll be going back, but just so you know, that's where I got it. This is the box, very interesting texture. I enjoy that. We're not absolutely sure whether this is the right box because there was some confusion with the shipment of pens coming in. White outer cardboard, I like that flap, so you can take the box out. The box, this feels like suede. It's a nice brown, has a little bit of foam to keep everything in, and the box looks like this. Alright, so you have this bottle of Namiki ink. It's a Namiki pen, Pilot Namiki, and this is a blue, and the pen of course also slips in there. Okay, take that out of the way, let's have a look at the pen. Pilot Namiki is, as I understand it, one brand, except Namiki makes the fancy pens. It's a little bit like Faber-Castell and Graaf from Faber-Castell, where you have the fancy luxurious pens and the regular pens, even though the regular pens are completely fine too. This is a Pilot, alright? This is the pen, and this is a Namiki. So you can see that they are similar, they share some features, like the clip, except one clip says Namiki, the other says Pilot, and also materials are a bit different. The Namiki pen is also heavier, okay? But this is the Pilot Sakura, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. Alright? Let's start at the very top of the pen. The whole model looks a lot like a Pilot 74. It has a lot in common with that pen, except of course the finish and the price. I'll come back to that. We have the finial on top, black. We have a clip that says Pilot. The clip is pretty tight, but because of that bowl, it will use and will slip into pockets or what have you. You can see that it's a maquillé technique. You see the nice gold specks, and you see those cherry blossoms on there. Same thing in the barrel. It's a fairly long barrel. You have those nice gold specks, and you have the cherry blossoms, aka Sakura. Now, these cherry blossoms, interesting, intricately connected with the samurai culture, have become a bit of a symbol of Bushido, the way of the warrior, in ancient Japan. Cherry blossoms, as you know, are very fleeting. The cherry trees at some point have the blossoms, and it lasts for only a very short while. And that's something that is tied to the way of the warrior and their code, because samurai warriors were supposed to lead a glorious but short life, because they're supposed to die in battle, as many soldiers are. So it's an interesting pen because it is connected to that theme. It's a theme that is also very, very close to Japanese culture, and I find that very interesting. Okay, moving on. I'm going to uncap the pen. Cap screws off. We have the section again. Really looks like a Pilot 74, sorry, Custom 74. You have the nib, gold nib. Show you that in a second. It's an 18 karat nib. It says Namiki 18 karat 750 10. That's the size, number 10 nib. So clearly a Pilot proprietary size, not a number 10 in the grand scheme of standard nib sizes, because then it would be a lot bigger. Sorry, and it says B. It's a broad nib and it has some scroll work on it and all that. We have the section, tapers down, flares out a little bit, and the pen is cartridge converter filled. In this case, the cartridge, because I had that, and as I said, the pen is a loaner, so I didn't want to dig into the ink that came with it. There you have it. The pen is quite long. Again, just like a Custom 74 is. Does that make it exceptionally long? Not really, but it's long enough to be used unposted. You can post it because of the lacquer work here. I'm a little bit careful, but I do think if you really want to, you can post it, and because it's a fairly light material, you can do that without the pen becoming too top heavy. Okay, what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? The pen writes. Nib I found a little dry. I refilled this cartridge actually with Pelikan Royal Blue. That is a slightly dry ink, so I'm a little bit careful, but because I have to return it, I don't want to put in some ultra aggressive ink that will stain the pen, etc. So maybe the nib is not terrible. It definitely writes. It flows well. It has some spring to it. It's a pleasant writer overall. Being a Japanese broad, you will see that in the writing sample, but this is definitely more of a Western medium. Don't expect an ultra broad nib. And it writes smooth and pleasant. One thing I found fascinating, I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but the nib looked slightly oddly shaped to me. It's a very angular set of tines. They kind of go up very suddenly. I don't know if you can really make that out, but it was something that struck me, and I like that. The lacquer work is really impressive. As I said, it's a very light pen. I would personally have enjoyed a bit of weight, but the lacquering itself is very, very nice. I also like the theme they went with, the Sakura theme, and the well, what do you call that? The transcendence of stuff. The everything is short-lived, and you can see that even these cherry blossoms on there are already falling apart and kind of blowing along in the wind. So the theme of transcendence, the theme of things passing away is very clear on the pen. Okay, gold specks, they look cool. It is clear that a lot of artistry goes into this. It's not just stamped on there or laser etched on there. It's made by an artist. And the downside to that is you will pay for this. This pen retails at the Rose for 800 euros. So this is not a cheap pen, it's not a small purchase, it's an expensive pen. Is that worth it? Well, that of course is entirely up to you. There definitely are pens that are a lot more expensive that have marquee on them. So as far as marquee pens go, I think this is kind of what you would pay. Of course you are buying a piece of art. An artist has lacquered this, but it's still a lot of money. It's a cartridge converter filled pen. It's not a piston filler. It's not a super large gold nib. It's not an ultra flexy gold nib. So you are buying a pen that I would say, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way, but you are buying a fairly standard pen, a standard nib. It's good, but it's not outstanding. A filling system that's good, but not outstanding. So the price, I think, is really in the artwork. And that may be worth it to you, or it may not be worth it to you. I probably would not buy this pen. The reason being that for me, even though the lacquering is stunning, I find it on the thin side of things, and that is very personal. But if I were to spend that amount of money, I would want something a bit bigger. That's just the way I like it. Alright, that's all there's to it. Alexander, thanks a lot for lending me the pen. I really appreciate it. It's coming back to you as soon as possible. Check out the website sbrebrown.com for high resolution pictures of the pen as well as measurements of the pen. What's coming up next is a writing sample. I hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, here we go with the Pilot Sakura. The nib is a broad and the ink is Pelikan Royal Blue. Bit of a skip there. I do find the nibs, as I said earlier, slightly on the dry side, but it does keep up fairly well even with fast writing. Wetness, as I said, dryish. Line variation, well, the nib definitely opens up a bit, but you have to take it very slow for it to not railroad. Of course, a wetter ink might help in that regard. Reverse writing. To make a thinner writing line is not feasible. As you can see, it just the nib is just too dry for that. Okay, a kind thank you. That's weird. To De Roos for lending me this pen. I appreciate it. It's coming back to you right away. Guys, I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later.